Okay.
Hey, do you want to get the map for, like, that middle place?
Sure, you want me to do that right now?
Yeah, I think since we know where it is, like, right there.
Where is it?
Down.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think those are the map. Why don't you take the one that's the path?
I don't want the path.
Okay, got it.
I mean, we don't want to be in Caelid anyway. It's a late game area.
I know.
Have you ever heard of progression? Have you ever heard of how video games work? Or are you that much of a casual? You don't even know.
I've never played any video games.
You don't even know how video games work. You've never heard of progression. You've never heard of storytelling. You've never heard of role-playing.
Oh, I've heard of role-playing.
Oh, no, not that kind.
I am an... Oh, okay.
Not that kind.
Okay.
I don't want to know about, like, you and your uncle and the reenactment of the century. There hasn't been a reenactment.
You don't even want to know our kinky role plays.
There has not been a reenactment with more N-words dropped since the Civil War reenactment.
Oh, no.
What do you think they'd do if you were a Confederate in the Civil War?
You have to say it. You have to say it.
And you just took it a little too seriously.
You need to say it. It's a necessity. It's historically accurate.
Like, you're just taking it a little too seriously.
Are you a real historian or not?
You're like, I love what happened at Duluth, but it hasn't even happened yet at this. And they're like, you can't mention that. It hasn't happened yet in this battle. No, I'm looking forward to it.
So I found out where she is.
Ronnie?
Yeah, Ronnie.
Oh, hey, there's some items here.
There was a dead bear. Is that Yogi? Nice.
Gold tinged extra.
Hey, get the bear, or the item from the bear. Throwing daggers. I feel like this bear is going to wake up and then, like, slash you.
I think he could. I think it's a rune bear.
Oh, like the hit boss rune bear.
Who is that a hit boss for?
Every Elden Ring player ever.
Ah!
Oh, jeez, there's 2 rune bears. Ah! Okay.
Ah! Ah!
Oh, jeez. Are you gonna summon Loodle? What is with this?
I don't know. Oh my.
They're like pissed off. You awakened them.
Da 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 da. Ah!
Jeez. Can you like get out of here?
Loodle! Loodle! Loodle!
Why does it take an hour to summon Loodle?
Come on! I'll save Loodle.
Just gonna spam him with magic.
Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez. Target angry.
Why is Loodle not helping?
Okay. Wait, Loodle disappeared. What? Loodle's like the most. Wait. Loodle's back.
What's that blue thing over there?
Power's back.
That little droid did it.
Did Loodle kill the broom bear?
He fixed the reverse power coupling. Is that what it was? The reverse power coupling?
I don't remember. Loodle threw like the most worthless dart I've ever seen in my life.
Do you remember when they have that pointless scene where George Lucas was like, "The Force needs to rhyme. We need to show that this was R2 actually." And it's like, "What's your name, little droid?" R2-D2? Oh my, what a hero. And they had the fake queen, like, blow R2.
Yeah. What was your problem with that scene? Because I was fine with it.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I just think it's funny because George Lucas was like, we need to make sure that everyone knows that this was R2 and that R2 and C-3PO are in every time period ever. Even though we're just gonna like get rid of them by the time of 4 and explain it away.
Yeah, I found it kind of funny because in the prequels, I feel like George Lucas had just a bunch of like random cameos that didn't need to be there.
Well, what's your problem with that? I thought it was great.
Right. I mean, like, I was fine with like the R2 one and stuff like that, but like the one that was always ridiculous to me is, why did Chewie need to be on Kashyyyk and help Yoda off the planet?
Right.
Like, why could that have just been a Wookiee?
Right.
Why was George Lucas like, we need to make this Chewbacca?
Yeah, I don't know why he had. I don't know. I mean, like, I was shocked that they weren't like, this is my friend Chewie and his friend Han Solo or something, like, and have like a child there. Like on the planet. I was honestly shocked they didn't do that. Where's that bear? Oh, there he is.
Are you gonna go kill the bear?
No.
Or just gonna leave?
It's not worth killing the bear. I was just trying to pick up the little...
We'll see how much of the map we've done now. Because I think we've done a lot. Yeah, see, look at that. Doesn't that look better?
It does look better.
Looking a lot nicer. Are you ready to go fight Ronnie? Do Ronnie's quest line?
We're gonna do our quest line, yeah. See at Korea Manor?
It's, no, it's in a spot we haven't found yet. It's, like, here.
Okay, so near Korea Manor.
Yeah, we need to go near Korea.
Looks like we need to go behind it. Because it looked like there was a plateau that I couldn't get up that way.
Yeah, pull up your map again before you get, like, attacked by Cosby's hands in here.
Yeah, because
I think if you go to the left, like, all the way in the top corner.
Here.
Like, look in the top corner by that fountain. See this path?
Right. Well,
I wonder if that goes through the thing.
Do you actually know that, or are you guessing? I'm
guessing. I'm just looking. I'm the cartographer.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the map.
Well, why don't you reenact Halo and be the silent cartographer?
Okay.
Do you get it?
I do, yeah.
I was telling you to shut up.
Yeah, that was a Halo 2 level, wasn't it?
Thought it was a Halo 1 level.
Oh, maybe it was a Halo 1 level.
You absolute buffoon of a man.
I'm sorry.
Who mistakes Halo levels? Like, who does that?
Someone who's only played them once?
People who want to be on the receiving end of a Duluth reenactment. That's who. So you better be careful here.
Am I one of the pardon people? Or...
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I don't like this reenactment.
Wait, I have a bad feeling about this Star Wars reference.
Nice.
That we have to go here and go here.
Well, what if you just, like, go through the manor, like,
okay,
on the inside?
I will do that, but I have a...
You have a bad feeling.
I have a sinking suspicion that they're going to make us go an annoying way.
What if, in the next Star Wars movie, to get around the I have a bad feeling about this, they switched up the lines, and it was I have a sinking suspicion.
That's pretty good. But what if they removed the gendered word I? Because it really bothers me. And they said... Us.
Were they them?
No, us.
Oh, okay.
Expect. Us expect negatory opposition. That's what I'm thinking. Got
it. I think that would really enhance the movie.
So I have a question for you that...
Okay.
No one cares what we think about this. I don't even really care what we think about this, but I'm actually... going to ask you. This might be a can of worms, so like, if it is, just try not to make it one.
Oh, okay.
What are your thoughts? Okay, well, we both have like different thoughts and also like a general lackadaisical, I don't really care that much what other people do as long as it doesn't affect me about most things, you know?
Right.
I have a hard time calling people them. Do you? Like, and not because it, like, makes me angry, but because, like, I genuinely am like, how are you supposed to remember this? The entire English language teaches you not to do this.
Right.
Like, at absolutely every turn, you have, like, a teacher drilling you. Well, okay, well, I was at a different school. But at absolutely every turn, there is a teacher trying to tell you, like, don't do that. Don't say that. Well, yeah, it's like the N-word of English class.
It's not grammatically correct.
Right. Well, and seriously, like, it's literally like they're excited for page 142 of To Kill a Mockingbird, but you refer to someone as them, and they're like, ah, and have like a meltdown.
It's like the N-word of English class.
It's
a great description.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
like, at the end of the day, I almost feel like most people go along with everything just because they don't want to argue.
A fight, yeah.
Like, whether they care or not. Like, even people who are, like, vehemently what you'd call homophobic, like an actual asshole, and, like, they hate all gay people. Like, a lot of them will just be like, whatever.
Right.
But I'm not even talking from that angle. I'm just talking about, I can't remember to do that.
Well, and my, I guess without sounding like a dick here, for me, I find it kind of hard in general to remember anyone's anything.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
You just kind of look at someone and assume, like...
Right.
Maybe this is going to be mean, but you just kind of assume, like, they're probably on, like, factory default settings, like a normal, boring person.
Right.
You know what I mean by that? And that's not in, like, a bad way. It's just in a way of, like, this person looks like a man. Statistically, they probably are called he.
Right.
Or something like that.
Well,
and I think that is statistically true.
Right, yeah,
Because,
most people are.
There's a reason why minority communities are called minority.
Right.
It's so they can be oppressed. No, it's actually because they're not the majority.
Right.
So, like, when you get to... These things are terrifying.
I know. Also,
trim your nails.
That's disgusting.
We have, like, Jeffree Star here. I just think that it's one of those things where... I don't know, people get so mad about this, and usually, I don't know, maybe this is just something they taught me. Okay. Like, yeah, the hands of Cosby have got to go. Maybe this is just something they taught me, but I was always taught to try and assume positive intent of people.
Right.
And what that means, and this is not to sound patronizing, but essentially what that means is, like, try and assume that people are not being an asshole on purpose if you think they are. And then if they turn out to be being an asshole on purpose, at least you weren't the asshole.
Right.
Because you didn't assume the worst of them right away and attack them, and then it turned out they weren't. But I've noticed a lot of people, like, go out of their way to grandstand on this stuff, especially on social media. Like, I noticed around the Ezra Miller thing, I called Ezra Miller they. For my entire video about Ezra Miller, just kind of talking about it. Because, one... I don't care. Even though I would argue that I'm not actually sure where Ezra Miller falls on that stuff, because people are not educated on that. During that same issue where Ezra Miller said that they don't identify as a man, Ezra Miller also said they barely identify as a human.
Right.
And it was pretty obvious Ezra Miller was blasted. Like, using drugs and alcohol. So, oh my. I pray for your house's swift revival. So, you know what I mean by that? Like, I don't even know if Ezra Miller would typically fall under these labels, or if Ezra Miller was just really high.
Right.
And trying to describe something that they were blasted out of their mind and couldn't describe anyways. You know what I mean? Like, but on that video, like, there were so many people who were, like, trying to find an example of me not saying they.
Right.
And it's like...
It's just people trying to...
look good.
Right.
I mean, it's performative.
It's literally like, oh, look at me, I called out this person.
I genuinely think it is performative activism. Because it's one of those things, and it's not really even activism, it's just performative morality.
Right.
Where, like, I think you're trying to look good by being like, I'm respectful, you're not. And it's kind of one of those things where whenever people do that, I immediately think, like, you're probably very insecure about who you are. Like, you need to actively try and go out of your way to, like, find examples of someone messing up. Like, this goes for everything. It's not just for this. Like, it's a very... I don't know, I feel like it's a Western attitude. You don't see this as much in Eastern cultures. When they do this in Eastern cultures, it's to grow. Like, they can be douches on their own.
I think you have to go through the castle, by the way.
I can do that. I am in the castle.
Well, but I meant, like, the actual room where that dude was. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to get up there. I'm just saying, like...
See, you know what's weird? This is completely me. Do you see how this is pointing this way?
Yeah.
I... like an idiot, looked at this little tip.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, I'm going that way. I don't know. I guess I thought that my arrow was like a thick rear.
I think you need to be better. Look at me blasting you.
I'll try to. Yeah, you should put me on blast and cancel me so that you can get a movie deal or whatever.
I definitely will.
I don't know. This is something we've talked about probably ad nauseum before. Like, do you even know what that means?
I do.
Okay. I wasn't saying that to be a dick. I just realized that sometimes I say something like that, and you're like, "What?" We've talked.
You have to dumb things down for me, but
No. It's the other way around, where like you're talking about Elliot Thurman's 30-second pubic hair on the Oval Office chair that's been preserved, and I'm like, "Huh?" No, but like it's one of those things for me where I genuinely think that people just want to look good, and I don't get it. Like, I genuinely think that's kind of disrespectful to people too. Like, let's say that you are trans, and somebody is using you to look good, like as like a token figure.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of douchey. You know what I mean? Like, they should want to respect you because you're a human being, not even just because you're trans. Like, I find that dumb. That's dumb reasoning.
Trans dumb?
No, like, I find it dumb to be like, I'm gonna respect you because you're trans, or because you're black, or because you're gay, or because you're Arabic, or any, like, community or race or sexuality. Like, that should not be why you respect someone. You should respect those things about someone because they're just a fellow person.
Right.
And you're not an asshole. But, like, people go out of their way to be like, I'm gonna pick and choose. Like, I'll respect this person and this thing, but not this person and this thing. And I'm gonna personally, like, take it upon myself to be the Lone Ranger of pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, call it out, like, wherever I see it. And get really angry and try and find examples of it. And it's kind of one of those things to me where it's like, or you could just try and be a nice person and assume that if somebody makes a mistake on something like that, it's because these ideas are not widely accepted super old ideas on gender. They're actually pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of ridiculous to assume that everybody is on the same page and knows and understands all of it to the same degree. I mean, scientists are literally still discussing and trying to, like, understand gender and sexuality and the difference between them even now, and what the consensus is. There are actual scientific communities that disagree on this stuff still.
Right.
And it's like, if even they are not all on the same exact page, where they all use the same terminology and all understand it the same exact way, you can't expect, like, Joe the plumber to get it on the same, like, form as you when maybe it's part of your identity or your cousin's identity or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense.
Jeez.
Like, it would be like me expecting everyone to know everything about Norwegian history. Like, I don't even know that, and I'm Norwegian. Like, why am I expecting perfection here, you know? I don't know. Is this making any sense?
No, it does make a lot of sense. I think my main issue is, like, kind of like you said, when people people expect perfection all the time, and I think that most of the time people are not trying to be douchebags. Like, they're just trying to be people and trying to be nice. And not to be rude here, but a majority of people are not trans. They're just not. It's not a thing. So, like,
I mean, some people have never met a trans person, depending on where they live.
Exactly. So, like, to sit here and get angry and furious when someone, you know, goes up to someone, like for example, let's say you were trans, right?
Okay.
Let's say that you were, you identify as a girl, right, for example. Mm-hmm. But you look like you. Mm-hmm. And I'm meeting you for the very first time. I'm not going to call you a girl. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I'm just saying, because it's like, my initial thoughts are, this is a guy.
Well,
and I'm not even trying to, my point is, I'm not my point is, I'm not even trying to be rude about it.
I know.
It's just, that's the natural word that comes out.
I mean, I think evolutionary-wise, that's the natural idea anyway.
Right.
Is like, more masculine is associated with male, more feminine is associated with female. I mean, that is something that if you have a problem with, that's just a scientific thing. Like, human beings are conditioned to search for a mate and to understand the differences.
Right.
Even when they already have one. Like, you still have those instincts. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And people clearly still have those instincts because they cheat on each other left and right. But my point is that you're always conditioned to look for those differences. You're not conditioned to, like, go up to someone and be like, what are your pronouns?
Right.
Normal people don't do that. I'm sorry. Like, if you want to, people will grandstand on this point of like, well, you should ask before referring to someone. It's like, I get what you're trying to do here. Like, you're trying to be nice. I understand that. Normal people just aren't going to do that. Mm-hmm. And here's why. Normal people don't know you. You know, like, I'm not going to go up to you and ask, what's your favorite color either.
Right.
Like, until we're on, like, a personal basis and, like, know each other a little more and introductions are made. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but, like, it's just not going to go that way. It never will. That'll never be the norm. Like, as much as liberal arts classes and stuff have tried to make it the norm, and I say this as a former liberal arts teacher, it's just not something that ever will be, because people don't work that way. They're not like these super prying, you know, like, annoying people who need to ask you 30 questions about your life. Like, most people, they want to know as little about you as possible and move about their day, not because they hate you or because they want to disrespect you, but because they don't know you and they're not comfortable. And they don't want to ask a bunch of questions about your identity and who you are. And, like, I mean, like, imagine this. Like, I wouldn't go up to an Asian person and say, what kind of Asian are you?
Right.
Like, I just wouldn't do that.
Just weird.
I mean, if I, like, know someone better, I might say, like, hey, do you know what your, like, cultural background is? Like, where you originally were from? Because, especially in America, we're all originally from somewhere, unless you're Native American. Mm-hmm. Even then, you're actually from the Fertile Crescent originally. There is no such thing as a actual native to this country, but you were here first. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's really going to ask certain prying questions like, well, what kind of Native American are you? Or what kind of Asian person are you? Because, like, it just sounds douchey.
Right.
I think it's the same way with these personal gender things. It's like a lot of people are like, all right, I don't want to piss anyone off. Hi, how are you? Thanks, bye.
Right.
Until you know someone. But, like, people, I don't know. It's not even just the expecting perfection. That's one thing. At least that is, like, at least that could be from a good place of, like, wanting to be respectful. But I genuinely think a lot of it is people who don't care, who want to look good on the internet.
Right.
Which I don't even understand, because you don't know the people you're trying to look good for, but...
Well, I think it's just I think there's two groups of people. I think the majority of people want to look good. They want to try to call other people out. They want to make other people look bad. And then by that standard, they themselves look better. Because, like, look at me, I'm calling person out over here. So these are the type of people that, you know, as soon as, like, a sports player or something will make it big, they'll be, like, just digging through hundreds of tweets to be like, well, what's something I can find that I can blast online?
Like that kid who like, in 6th grade called someone gay or something?
Yeah, and then he got, like, blasted online, like, 20 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, those types of people are probably the majority of the people, but there are actually people out there that legitimately get, like, angry and offended, like, if they're, I don't know, trans or something, and then they're meeting someone and they get called the wrong pronoun, they actually get, like, actually offended and angry and, like, yell and scream at them.
Could you tell your story about this? Because it's not a disrespectful story.
What story?
The story about working at the desk and that couple trying to make a fight out of it. Where they came in and were like, do you refer to everyone?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You have a story about this
that
I think it summarizes Karen culture.
Yeah.
Which this is different, because this is the people who actually are this, and I think are... I don't know if they're so beaten down by, like...
There's an item over there, by the way.
Thank you.
It's behind the tree over there.
So I made a mistake here.
Oh.
I can't...
I think it was, like, 2 buttons, like L1 plus something or something. Oh, what was it?
How am I forgetting? You know why I'm forgetting? It's because I've been playing Dark Souls again.
I know. Let me look it up.
Okay. Well, I'm just an idiot, so...
Hold triangle and press R1 or L1.
Thank you.
Yeah, I knew it was hold down something.
I honestly forgot. No, so the story you're gonna tell, I don't know if these people have actually experienced this a lot, because maybe they have just been treated poorly in the past.
Yeah.
And they're just sick of it. But I also think that a lot of people from every walk of life are, like, looking for people to, how do I say this? Like, they're looking to be made a victim of at times, because, like, I think it's just easier because you can kind of be like, look how mean everyone is to me. And not because you're a bad person, but because, like, I think a lot of times secretly people want to be the good guy, and I think that's easier when it seems like people aren't being nice to you.
Right.
I don't really know how to say this. Maybe you should just tell this story before I sound like a jerk.
Well, first of all, the story has to do with a lesbian couple.
Okay.
So not trans people, but a lesbian couple.
Right.
Now,
don't worry, Nate did not fetishize them.
No, I did not. Don't worry. But yeah, anyway, so I was at work. This was, I don't know, a while ago. And my coworker, we were... So I'm trying to figure out how to describe what we were doing without just saying where I work.
We were selling tickets.
Yeah, we were selling tickets.
That's a good way.
And my coworker, who is really a very nice, friendly, good person.
How about this?
Like a genuine person.
Also, probably the most liberal you can get without being a performative activist.
Yes.
Fake person.
Yeah, like I know her political beliefs. She has told me them. But she's also, like, super nice.
Right.
Like, the most friendly person.
I like the assumption that, like,
with.
Because she's liberal, she can't be nice.
Well, okay. I know.
She's liberal, but she's nice. It's like, no one was going there. No one said that.
My point with saying that was more like... Oh, wait, there's a guy sneaking up on you. My point of saying that is...
pulling up.
My point of saying that is this lady's not a dick.
Right.
So, anyways, we were selling tickets. It was a, kind of a longer line. We were kind of just rushing through them. And, we got through them, whatever. And about a couple hours later, this couple comes back up to us when we didn't have anyone in line. And they go, "Hey, thanks. We really enjoyed it here today. But I just had a quick question. Do you refer to everyone that comes up with two of the same gender as if they want to pay separately, or do you just assume that everyone's not gay?"
I also like the idea that this is just the meanest question, and not just because you're basically a minimum wage employee who just wants to know and move on with your job. Oh, no.
Oh, geez. Well, and what? So basically, what we ask is if we see. Is basically what we're asking is we have to know what button to click on our thing, right?
Right.
Is if we see multiple people come up, it's okay. If we see multiple people come, that's a different thing. But
yeah,
if we see
then we know they're not just friends, or they're really good friends.
Exactly.
Like
but no,
us.
if we see people come up, like two people come up, it's am I clicking the button once to sell you one ticket? Or am I clicking the button twice to sell you 2 tickets?
Uh-oh.
Like that's all we're caring about, right? It's not like some big like detailed whatever here. Some personal attack or anything like that. So what happened was these ladies came up and my coworker basically just asked, "Are you paying together or separate?"
Right, like an absolute phobe.
Right, exactly. And, they said together or whatever.
I would have been like, "Whoa," as the other worker so that I could look good.
Wow!
We don't ever ask that. It's like you ask it all the time. You just happen to know that they're a same-sex couple and you're a piece of shit. Why would you ask them that?
Come on! But, so that is what my coworker asked. And they said together or whatever, and then paid together. And we moved on with our day. Well, anyways...
Yeah.
Apparently that crossed the line. So, in our defense...
you don't get one.
I know.
Okay.
But the thing is, I'm trying to think back on my experience working at this place, which has been, at that time, it was probably like 3 years at that time.
Right. Do you think that excuses you assuming gender?
No, but here's the thing. Not to be a dick or anything like that, I'm not kidding you. That was probably the first same-sex couple that has come into that building at that time.
Gay people hate history. You heard it here, folks.
But I'm okay. I know, but my thing is, like, that was probably the first gay couple, at least that identified themselves to us, that I know about.
Right.
That came in at that time, and I had been there at that time for 3 years. So it's like... So my thing is, like, usually when people come into this place, it's either, nice, you got a trophy. Nice.
Wait, is Royal Knight Loretta important?
Apparently.
Did I,
Was that a optional boss we just beat?
Did I mess up the story? Because...
Well, let me see if that was a mandatory boss.
Okay. Alright. Well, I got a grace point.
Well, so Loretta is not on the mandatory boss list, so I guess I don't know.
Well, good.
So anyways, my point with that is not to say, like, these gay people are not important, but my point is...
Nobody said that!
I'm just trying to defend myself here. My point is to say, the normal question for us to ask was, are you paying together or separate? Because this had never come up before.
Right.
It's so, for us, it was, we see the people that walk into that building normally are always families, right? So it's parents and then kids, or older people.
Right.
Like, that's kind of just the normal thing. And because of the nature of that building, we see a lot of, like, friends and stuff like that coming to, like, hang out for the day.
Right.
So... And usually it's always like, oh, we're paying separate because they're friends and they're just wanting to pay separately. Mm-hmm. So to us, it was just kind of a normal, like, yeah, you're paying together separate, okay. Because that's what we had seen for 3 years.
Well, can I say, though, even now, what's wrong with that? I mean, like, even now, like, let's say tomorrow, only same-sex couples and same-sex friends for the rest of eternity came into the building.
Right.
And also came in the building.
Right.
What would the problem be with asking, hey, how are you paying? Because,
right.
like, I've been on dates before where the girl wanted to pay her own way.
Yeah.
I've been with friends before where a friend wanted to pay for my meal.
Right.
Just randomly. Like, hey, thanks for helping me, bang my stepmom here. Let me pay for your meal real quick.
Right.
I know you must be tired. She's hard to satisfy woman. And it's like, yes, absolutely. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know what someone's situation is. I genuinely think it's better to ask than just assume, like, so you guys banging?
Right.
Like, no matter who it is. Like, if they're two opposite,
Well, and that's the other thing is, I ask the exact same question to opposite gender people, too. Like, if I see, like, two 25-year-old, like, a couple coming together, and it's a man and a woman, and they're coming in together, we still ask them, are you paying together or separate?
Yeah, it's a pretty innocuous question.
Yeah, like, and it's not because we're, like, some dickish ass, like douchebags, like, trying to be, like...
Put dick in ass, you say?
Yeah. It's not because we're trying to be, like, some douchebags here, like, tell me about your sex life. It's more just like...
How's his dick feel?
It's more like, am I clicking the button once or twice?
Right.
Am I charging you $5 or $10?
Look at this. Fortnite.
Okay.
Blocked shut for now.
Yeah, so the one you want to go to is the one in the back, I think, where that Ronnie is.
Oh, down there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the entire point of the question. I don't care what your personal life is.
Right.
I could care less who you're dating. I could care less who you're with. I could care less if you're single or not.
You're a stranger.
I don't care if you have, you know, a polyamorous relationship where you're with 15 different women. I don't care.
I mean, I want to know how you arranged that.
Well, I know, but it's like...
I'm interested in that. It's like, let's get some tips.
But it's like, I don't care. I'm asking, am I charging you for 1 ticket or 2 tickets?
Right.
That's the point of the question. It's not... And I don't know, and I guess my thing is, like, again, if they had experienced some, like, bad, you know, situations with this or whatever, fine. Like, I'm not...
Fight this?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think he probably would destroy you.
Okay.
You know, and if they had experienced some, like, just horrible, like, dicks that had, you know, been rude to them in the past, okay, fine, whatever. But my point is, like...
I wouldn't say that... I'd be careful how you phrase this, because you just said that these lesbians had experienced horrible dick.
Maybe that's why they're lesbian.
Have you ever seen someone say that unironically?
I have, yeah.
It always makes me laugh really hard at how stupid it is.
I know. I'm always like, okay. Like, sure, but...
It's like... I love the question, are you sure? It's like, no, I just guess.
Or I like the other question, like... Well, or it's not a question. I can turn you straight.
Oh, that
like,
is just
what?
ridiculous.
It's like, what?
That's like something that an assaulter would say.
I know, it's like, okay.
I thought of that unironically because I've heard people unironically say that. Like, well, you just haven't had good dick.
I know.
It's like, no, I think they're just gay. Like,
right.
I love that, though. It's just like, are you sure? It's like... No, I took a wild guess. I'm, like, assuming I'm gay.
Actually, now that you mention it, I'm actually not.
I was questioning it, and now I'm like, I must be straight.
Wow. You know, I just hadn't experienced some good dick. That's what the problem is.
Notice people always ask that to someone they find attractive and they want to bang.
Right.
It's never to, like, a random person.
It's always, like, a call to be like, hey, make me the exception.
Right. Which, like, I like the idea, too, of, like, make me the exception. It's basically like, you're straight. Let me be the one man to shove my you-know-what in your butt.
Right.
It's like, they're just not into that. Like, they're not going to be into that just because you think they're hot.
Right.
Like, go home, open up the orange YouTube browser, have a good time. Like, maybe leave people alone. So are you paying together or separate?
Whoa!
Yeah, we got, like, a hate crime here.
I know, apparently. Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I don't mean to, like, blast this woman because I know obviously I know she's, like, obviously watching the video, but I don't mean to, like, blast this woman because, like, she was actually, like, trying to be nice about it, but
I mean, I think
still was kind of like, what? It's just a question. Like, and it's not even like a rude question. It's just a how am I charging you question.
Also, she was trying to be nice about it. Why bring it up? Like,
yeah.
I'm not...
Well, and then she was like, because we've had this happen before where we go into places and people just assume we're paying separately.
Right, but usually people are asking because they just don't want to have a fight or they want to make sure that they're, like, not over or undercharging.
Well, and to get some examples here, I kind of stopped doing this because there was a while where I just, like, charged people what I thought, right? So I'd see, like, a couple come in, I'd be like, all right, it's 2 tickets today. Yeah. And then they're like, well, we're paying separate. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you have to go through the work of canceling the whole transaction to, like, recharge them.
Right.
So it's like I kind of just stopped doing that. Now I'm just like, what you tell me what I'm charging you.
Right.
And that's the whole thing, because it's like we get yelled at for both ways. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. We get yelled at by being like, well, why are you charging me $20? It's only one of me.
Right.
We get yelled at for, well, how dare you ask us if we're not together?
Right.
And it's like, what do people want here?
Well,
Like,
it's one of those things where you're...
just answer the question.
You're also looking for trouble by... I don't know. I don't want to say, like, trying to start a fight, because maybe you're not, but you're trying to find a slight.
Yeah, and I don't get this, because for me, whenever I go into buildings, like if I'm going into like Target with my wife, for example, right? And we're buying stuff, and the person says like, I don't know, let's say like we both have a handful of things, and the person's like, you know, like we're charging them or whatever, and they're like, well, is this all together? I'm not like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, it's just a question.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
There you go.
It's just unnecessary. There's like an old saying, I don't remember what it was, but it's like, if you look for a fight, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
And it's like, typically, if you look for someone to be an enemy or to be committing a slight against you, you'll find it.
Right.
It's like better to not look for that, because you'll stumble across it enough.
Right.
I don't know.
I'll continue after this.